Okay, more mail. Was a little bit slow in posting, but it's got there once it's in the system. Just taking in a good bit of news on a letter as well. Well, I say good news, it's better than no news, shall we say, but my CT scan has come back within normal limits. My blood's within normal limits. Doesn't get to the root of the problem, but at least Mr. C hasn't come to visit. So, this was a bit of an oddball find, by accident really. It's an eBay jobby from a model railway company who I have used before. There was a voucher code, or whatever they do on eBay for certain companies that are affiliated with them to do offers, a bit like Rails of Sheffield do. The current one is Merry 15. It's a Christmas promo. He had a selection of the Wills accessories for the building kits. They're a modular kit. I've mentioned them before. I purchased a couple. I got one at a discounted price and one a little bit cheaper as a follow-on. There's also they use the same kit, but it's marketed as DHL building. I think it goes in or DPD, depending on what they're marketing. But the actual building modules can be extended. There's an extension kit which I've purchased. There are some inbound from Hattons as we speak, which is this bit. So you get the building and then this extension piece, and then you can obviously buy two, butt them back to back and double the size of the unit. So you've got the extension piece, then you could buy another one to put the opposite side, plus this kit, so you can, you know, expand it quite a bit. Now Hattons have had some bits in their bargain bins, and I think they've been going through the slow movers and knocking them down every few days. So I managed to pick up another building, another extension pack, and the DPD kit, which was £23, and they're normally £37. If you're lucky if you can find it for £33 now, the building in itself there. So what you can do, if you can see this, the shaded area for the doorway and the windows, you can change it with different modules. They were quite crafty, because then there's more expense, isn't there? So you've got the option of loading bay doors. Now I think these accessories are between £7 and £15 a pop. I think the accessory kit is about 17, the extension building. Windows and doors. Instead of the loading bays, you can just have roller shutter doors. And also the shop front extensions, you can do a kit section like that, which is sort of supermarket as it's marketed there. You know, they'd have the shopping trolleys, or carts as you call them in America. So it gives you sort of superstore, supermarket. And this one is not dissimilar to some that you might find at your DIY stalls. So you can convert the unit to an out-of-town park if you've got enough room to build that. So we have options on all. Basically, I think this is everything they do, which normally I wasn't really looking at buying them because of the cost and buying the extra building, but because I've been able to pick up the buildings cheaply and these, the reason for the conversation so far in is that he was obviously selling this all as one lot for £30, £29.95, but there was a 15% off. So that basically saved me the cost of the postage on top. So it still cost me £29 where it would have cost £35, £36. So basically that's half the cost near enough. So plus I've got some half relief industrial units, so I'm thinking maybe a commercial truck repair centre, the Royal Mail sorting office, which is going to be track served as well, hence having it. So I've got the trucks and vans for a distribution, Royal Mail distribution centre. So hopefully, you know, when I finally get to the building stage, I'm going to need a lot of track planning and ideas to tailor this in on various levels and sides of the building that the layout's going in, because it's going to basically be a rectangle so far. So we will do an awful straight sketch of a building like so. My house is up here, so I'm going to leave a space and a doorway to come in. I'm planning so far of probably having this area for a workbench area, and an extraction fan. There is another small wooden building, or wood and brick building here. So a vent for the airbrush cabinet, and in the summer the outlet can be used for a portable AC. I'm thinking, because I've got two wall hung glass display cabinets, that as you come in the doorway here there will be a headboard, so to speak, somewhere to hang a couple of coats or something. One of the cabinets, maybe, if it works, at the back, I can be sat here in my chair with the PC terminals as well. The helix area probably starts somewhere here. I know I'm good at art, aren't I? And the layout will proceed down here and back, like that. That's my initial plan anyway. Obviously it could come across more at this angle, but obviously you've still got to be able to reach this area to work on it, build it and create it and maintain and service it. I'm also thinking possibly of putting a panel in along this area, say. This would serve two purposes. It would be a little bit of structural support. One of the other display cabinets could go on this bit here, and this would allow for tunnels, raised scenic areas for you to transition from one area into another. So we could have, if this is the bottom layer or second layer, you would go from maybe a storage yard through into the scenic area, or vice versa. You could come out of the USA layout through into here, and maybe this would be more British style, and it would be on a reverse loop underneath the helix and come back round, or go up the helix to the next level just to make the train disappear and go on its journey, even though the next level could be all UK styley, and then keep it going up and run it through the 1930s, 40s, and then back down and round to eventually meet its destination at the other side, just to sort of make the train disappear for 5-10 minutes and reappear at the other end. Obviously I've got some kits. I've got the coal mine kit, and now I've bought the power station kit. So again, if the power station or mine's going to be up this side and then travel round this side or up to the next level to the power station and deliver coal, that, my idea would be dual purpose. It would, in one running scenario, be the American coal train running to the power station, or it could be my many British coal rakes running to the power station from the coal mine. Although the mine is more obviously US centric, the power station, which again is a Walters one, rarely looking at aerial shots of our power stations, although you'd probably have a bank of 3 of those or more. We've only got the one, but that's, you know, a 28-inch kit, so that's going to have a fair footprint as well. So that would probably have to be on this first or second level, and then the mine, which is slightly smaller, you know, on opposite level to give the train some run length. So we're looking potentially sort of a helix here, so if you start after that in a yard here, this shed length is going to be, if I get my wish, 30 feet, but realistically probably 25 to 30 feet. So we'll be able to run down here. This section along here, the back building, is going to be around about 12 feet, and then this up here is going to be probably, determining on that length, you've got a 3-foot doorway, maybe a foot there is 4, 2.5 foot there, so 5, 6, 7 feet off, so 17 feet maybe here, depending on obviously the length of the building, which is a reasonable run for an English style layout, given our real estate options. And obviously this may be coming out wider and tapering to allow for a slightly smaller shelf on the next section up, but I'm trying to get my head around any rail, not too much avail at the minute, and I can't remember what it is, about 60 quid for the license. I think there's some various dubious sites on the onto interwebs where you can put code, cracker things, but I'll be going on the laptop just in case. I don't want to splash out that kind of money and have it sat on a PC not doing anything. I have got the old Hornby thing, so I don't know how much layout you can do with that, but obviously I'm intermixing because some of my Pico track is set track geometry, some of it is streamline geometry, which means the intersection of the two don't line up. If you put one end and one the other end, the tracks would not meet. If you're buying ready-made track, you have to have one both ends that matches, or you'd have to use flex track and curve it, so it's obviously not going to be very prototypical. But my idea is to use the set track stuff on a lower level, probably on the side of a storage area that's split as a sort of symmetrical layout, but one side would be streamline track, one side set track, the English stuff that will cope with set track geometry would go on the one side, and depending on how many points I've got and what I acquire, I've got more streamlined style points than I have set track now, but you know, they're not cheap, so I need to use what I've acquired over the years, and if it's the off-scene storage area, it's not critical, and most of the English rolling stock will cope with it. It's just the longer sort of US stuff, which then I'll use the long radius turnouts for those. But again, I'm not sure whether to put a off-scene, just a purely rolling stock storage below. It would go underneath here, and either having this section that would lift up for maintenance or derailing access, or a section of it that would pull out on casters, so that any little accidents that happen can, you know, you can still access it without knocking everything else over on you when you're reaching in to try and grab something. Because really they want to be the other way around, and you want your storage yard at the top and all your operational stuff below, but then you're not going to see it. All the same here, have a large storage area underneath the first section or split, and again have it on a wide umbilical, so it will just pull out, access it, pull it all back in, put a couple of locks in, and but you know, this idea is on paper at the minute.